Morning, everybody. Like Tracy indicated, my name is Jim Tobin. I'm Chief Marketing Officer for the corporation, as well as President of Magna Asia. The big advantage of having this surgery about 3 weeks ago is I can't get on an airplane for at least another 3 weeks. So my wife's glad to see me around the house. So anyway, I'm going to give you a quick update on overall Magna. A key focus today for us to educate you is on innovation and what we're doing to support the mobility of the future. Not car of the future, but mobility of the future. And when you look at our organization, we have three top priorities we established about 4 years ago. One is world-class manufacturing. And that's just not what we produce on our shop floor, it's everything we do. And how do we make sure from value stream mapping, how we handle our customer, how we work with our supply base, we want to be best in class. So if anybody walks into any plant in the world that Magna has, they know it's a Magna plant. Second is people, and making sure that at the end of the day, we can invest in capital, but it's people to make the difference. We got 152,000 employees on our global team. And you know what? We're still looking for more people across the 31 countries that we deal in. And then the third is innovation. And that's what we wanted to show you a little bit more today. Not what we're going to be producing tomorrow, but what we're doing to support mobility as we go into the future. Because as most of you know, product architecture for vehicles through 2019, 2020 are pretty much established. We're working now 2020 to the 2030 timeframe. So overall, when you look at Magna in sales this year, we're going to be in a $36 billion range. As we came out in August, after our second quarter results, we indicated that our earnings were, or our sales revenue were going to be between 35.2 and 37 billion. For this year, 2015 or 2016. Third quarter results come out November 8th. You'll be able to see what our financial forecasts are at that point, but coming out of the second quarter around 36 billion US dollars. I mentioned the number of employees, over 300 manufacturing sites globally, supporting our customers in 31 different countries. We're at market position when you look at sales revenue. We're number 3 globally, and this is as of the 2015 numbers, and via Automotive News. Thank you very much. I know they're here with us today, and we're number 1 in sales revenue here in the NAFTA market. So in March of this year, we had an investor day, and the one thing that we told our investors in March was that we wanted to continue to outpace the market when you look at our sales revenue growth versus the market growth. So the one thing we did as we came out of the second quarter, you can see quarter over quarter, we netted out our acquisitions that we had. Getrag is one of them, and we said, okay, we reported a 16% sales revenue increase, but the organic growth accounted for 10% of that growth. And when you look at a market growth of 4% globally, we're outpacing the market. And you can see the distribution across the major regions of North America, Europe, and Asia, how we performed relative to the market growth. So in all markets, we are outpacing the market growth. And when you look at coming out of the financial crisis of 2008, 2009, all automotive stocks had a pretty low baseline. But as you look at our peers, automotive peers, about a 202% return to shareholders since 2010, and those are guys like Dana Corporation, Borg Warner, the usual suspects you see on the New York Stock Exchange, where Magna has yielded almost 270% return to shareholders, and compared to the S&P at 96%. So when you look at our continued growth, and global production is trending towards the 100 million unit mark, and it's going to trend up further than that for the next few years. And to support our customers, you can see distribution by major regions. We got over 29 plants under construction right now across the globe, of which 13 will come up this year, another 16 next year. And it's adjusting our footprint, a lot of footprint adjustment here in North America, with production moving to Mexico, production moving to southeastern United States, so we've had to shift our footprint accordingly. Then also here in the state of Michigan, I think right now we have about 13,000 employees in the state of Michigan based on what's happening here in the state. And our customer, they have their bullseye approach. They want us to be closer to them. We're delivering more modules now than parts. And you'll see some good examples here today, which we're sequencing into our customer plants. Therefore, we have to be within their broadcast window. And then China is our biggest area of expansion, and up in the north in Chongqing, and then as well as Beijing and Shanghai, and even down in the south in the Guangzhou region. We continue to expand, and we're strategically looking in the center of the country now as to what we have to do as the auto industry moves into the center of China. And when you look at market position based on market share, you can see in many of our products as well as manufacturing processes, we yield some pretty good positions across the globe, as you can see on this schedule. So at the end of the day, I always look at what's the differentiator that Magna International has versus the other auto parts suppliers. And you'll hear a lot from Ian Simmons, who's up next, about our holistic approach on how we're helping to bring solutions to our customer. There's not too many automotive suppliers out there that build complete vehicles. So we understand that. We design complete vehicles through our Magna Steyr. We've got the engineering depth within our organization, so we're able to bring good competitive solutions to our customer, whether it's a subsystem or looking at the overall approach. You saw the 4 pillars as you walked in the room today of smarter, lighter, cleaner. Ian's going to get into that and how we're supporting those pillars within the global automotive industry. We've got the manufacturing footprint, we've got the depth of product and breadth of product to bring great solutions to our customer. And a good example is we bring the right solution. And when you go around the room here, you'll see a lot of plastic parts, you'll see sheet metal parts, you'll see carbon fiber parts. Well, you know what? We produce all that, so we're able to bring the right solution to the customer. We're the biggest stamper in the world. But that doesn't mean that in all cases, a stamped steel or aluminum part is the right solution. You'll see as you walk around the room, the Nissan Rogue has a plastic liftgate on it. Now, most steel suppliers would say the best solution for you, Mr. Customer, is a steel or aluminum liftgate. Well, as we looked at it, we looked at steel, we looked at aluminum, we looked at plastic, and even carbon fiber. But at the end of the day, the best solution for the customer is plastic. So that's what we went with. When you look at Class A stamping outside the OEMs, which traditionally they do in-house, we're the largest in the world. With the capacity we have here in NAFTA, as well as what we're doing now in China, and then in places in Europe. So we do understand the aluminum, the traditional steel, and you'll see some multi-material solutions that we think is going to be more and more prevalent as we go into the future. So we do have a competitive position because we have a breadth of product, and we've got that technical know-how inside our organization, even to building complete vehicles. So when you look at new launches, which we're proud of launching here in the North American market, we have quite a bit of product. You can see from Chrysler Pacifica through the Tesla Model X, as well as Nissan launching their new Titan truck down in Mississippi, as well as others. Across Europe, a number of major launches that we have underway with the German car companies, as well as even Nissan over in Europe. And then in Asia. And we got a technology award in India for the full frame that we're building for Mahindra. We are the largest frame supplier in the world, full frame. As most of you know, most of it's here in North America, but we are now building full frames over in Asia. And you can see the product in China that we've launched. We have a joint venture with Guangzhou Auto in our body and chassis group. We're doing the lion's share of the sheet metal for the new Jeep Cherokee. In a couple recent announcements that I'm sure you may or may not have heard of is in our closures group, again, to expand our footprint in Europe, as well as looking at some pretty neat technologies. We announced the acquisition of Boco out of Germany. And then electronics. Ian's going to talk a little bit more about what we're doing in electronics. But inside our Magna Steyr organization, we acquired Telemotive AG out of Germany to complement us on the engineering side for electronics. And then we announced a couple weeks back in conjunction with BMW that we will build the BMW 5 Series in our Graz assembly plant. Any questions? Okay.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Your manufacturing footprint, the expansion, you said 13 of them coming up this year.
Yes.
I noticed one of them in India.
Yes.
When is what will it produce? What is the capacity?
In India, our footprint is in Chennai, Pune, and then Sandan. And up in Sandan, we continue to expand. Ford Motor Company is our key customer up in Sandan. We produce in Sandan. We produce the all the sheet metal for Ford, seat complete for Ford, and then with Getrag, our new acquisition, Magna Powertrain, we have the new facility that we're localizing some of the transmission manufacturing. The transmissions that actually go into Ford Sandan are made in Europe. And then we're going to be doing some final assembly in Sandan. And as they localize, we're going to look at what makes sense for further expansion into the India market.
So there's a map in your package with all the facilities in India.
Yeah.
Okay.
A new plant will be, this is the expansion of the plant you mean, with many locations there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
You said the 4 pillars, smarter, lighter, cleaner.
Safer. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
The 29 plants around the world that are under construction.
Yes, sir.
Can you talk a little bit more about where they are?
Well,
A lot, but
if I go back, let me, where is that? Okay, no. Oh, is it back down? Sorry. Okay, you can see the distribution there by region. And you can see in NAFTA, it's basically the US and Mexico. In the US, some of it's here in Michigan, as well as the Southeast. And then Mexico, based on everything that's going on in Mexico, we're expanding to support our customers down there. And you can see the balance of the world. Any specific questions on any of the ones? Okay. Anything else? Yes, sir.
Yeah, so the North American product launches you mentioned, those are not, it's not like Magna Steyr, you don't build those, obviously those are built by the
Yeah,
manufacturer. But,
yeah.
out of these 29 plants, put it this way, are there any, will you be building complete automobiles for anybody in North America anytime soon? Is that part of your plan?
You know, we've come out in the public domain and indicated that we have 2 facilities in Graz, Austria, side by each. We got multiple body shops, 1 paint shop, multiple trim shops. Based on the recent announcement with Jaguar Land Rover and BMW, as well as the renewal of the G-Wagon contract with Mercedes, those 2 plants are full. And they're full through 2022, 2023. Of course, we're looking what makes sense for our customers, and does it make sense for us to expand further? So we have had discussions with customers, and if you look at capacity utilization, especially in NAFTA, as well as other areas of the world, they're running pretty close to 100% plus. So we have no official announcement or news that one of those plants is a contract assembly plant, but we continue to work with our customers on where and if we would ever do that.
If I could follow up, are there any peculiarities that would make it different or tougher to do complete vehicles? I'm thinking like UAW, obviously, or anything else in North America, or NAFTA for that matter, in North America versus what you've been doing in Graz?
No.
Or what?
No, not at all. Not at all. And you know, when you look at it, it all comes down to the major investment in an assembly plant, as most of you know, is paint shop. So you got to get enough critical mass to justify the investment. It's kind of sometimes a chicken and the egg. And you see some of the plants here in North America are busting at the seams, so to speak. I think GM Wentzville is a good example. They cannot build enough Colorados to support the demand in the market, so they offloaded to Navistar the G-Van to open up more capacity. So we see a lot of what ifs going in across the globe, and we continue to stay very close to our customer on strategy.
So the obvious question then, so next is, have you had, or are you having discussions with Fiat Chrysler about building small cars for them?
You know, I'd have to kill you if I said we were. We're always talking to our customers on strategy. And the one thing that Don Walker, our CEO, always emphasized, and we emphasize as a leadership team, is our partnership with our customers got to be mutually beneficial. So we're always working with our customer on strategy, and product strategy, geographical strategy, and process strategy. I'll give you a good example. In China, BMW is expanding their capacity over there. Based on our relationship and more so their experience with us and confidence in us, in most cases in China, they would vertically integrate Class A. When I say Class A, that's exterior sheet metal, body side hoods, enclosures. Based on our relationship with BMW globally, we're doing their Class A for them. So they did not have to invest internally. We're doing it for them in their joint venture with Brilliance. We're doing it on our own outside of. We've got a plant in South Carolina where we do most of the Class A for the BMW plant in South Carolina. So it all comes down to knowledge, experience, and making sure that we're aligned with our customer on that. So we continue to talk about that. So when we can talk about something, we'll let you people know. Any other questions? Now you can get to, yes.
Where are the two plants in Michigan that you're building?
One's in, where's Tracy? I may need some help for clarity. We just opened up a lighting plant over on the west side in the Livonia area, okay? I gotta come back to you on the second one. It could be what we're doing down in Alabama, but we'll come back to you on that. But we're gonna be producing lighting, front and rear lighting over in Livonia for a couple key customers. Any other questions or comments? Now you get to hear about the real neat stuff from Ian.